Welcome to episode 66 of the Mile 20 podcast where epic shit happens. My name is Lori and I'm here with my bestie,
Laura.
Yes, and we are coming to you today about 10 days out from the Cedar Rapids Marathon. And we have an interview with Jake Jass, which will be super exciting coming
Oh,
up.
you guys are gonna love hearing from him. Super,
Yes.
super great guy.
Nice guy. I'm really looking forward to the race. But before we dive in, got any epic week update? What you been up to?
I lost my power this morning.
Well, that sucks. Yeah, where
Yeah.
are you right now?
I'm sitting in my mom and dad's house. I'm sitting in my dad's office, and I took over his desk today. So God love him, because he usually sits in his computer room and plays on the computer all day long. So I have confiscated this office space. But yeah, we lost the power at like 9 o'clock this morning, right when I was hopping on a conference call, and his work is like crazy right now. And so I've been working in the hot box. It's like they don't have the air conditioner on, Lori. It's like 80 degrees in the house.
I know that's going to be us someday. You do realize. I think
No,
it's
no,
when does
no.
that
Is that it?
happen?
I don't know.
70s?
I
I don't
don't
know
know, but
either.
I'm on hormone replacement therapy, and I feel like I'm having a hot flashes like all day long, but it's just been constant all day. I'm like,
Yeah,
my
when I
God,
go
did I
see
put on
my
deodorant today?
when I go see my mom in Florida and I walk into her apartment before I get there, we get up into her apartment, I'm like, like it's Florida. Why is it 80 degrees and 98% humidity in your apartment?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Air
it's a lot.
conditioning.
It's a lot. Well, just epic. Other than my epic day today, we didn't do much over Memorial Day weekend. It was we stayed down in Maryland. We went to our house in Maryland down in the Chesapeake, and it rained
All weekend?
all weekend, every
Oy.
single moment. We did get in a walk. So my sister Maddie and I walked. We did like a 6 mile walk. That was the first time I had done any kind of exercise since my nasal surgery. I haven't run, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna run tomorrow and the next day. I actually woke up early this morning to run, Laura, and it was pouring here. I know you're up in Cranberry Lake, New York. So very, very
Yes.
different weather than I have right now. But yeah, I have a little bit of running anxiety, because I haven't run since getting the nasal surgery, and things still aren't entirely right. So we're just, and we're taking it easy. But otherwise, my sister came down with her husband and son, and my daughter was down. My parents came down. My parents were with us from Thursday to Monday. So I had them all
Aw.
weekend long, which was really lovely. We did puzzles, and I took the girls to the local winery. We went and saw the new Star Wars movie, which was eh. So yeah, so just didn't do a whole hell of a lot of stuff, but it was just the weather. But it was really nice just to go and have a little bit of downtime with family. How about you? You had a little bit of a house full, didn't you?
Yeah. It was yeah. And I have to say, I don't know if this is just the most Gen X thing or whether it's just me being insane, but like last Thursday
Wait, wait,
was
wait. Doesn't Gen X and insane equal the same thing?
probably, yes.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
it's the whole like, oh, like, so I told everybody, okay, I'm picking up the boat on May 21st. I'm driving it to Cranberry Lake. This is happening. I thought, Ellie will be home from school. No big deal. I'll just bring her with me. Well, she has a horse show this weekend and she just moved the horse from state college back home and hasn't really ridden. He had some, vet work done, some stuff done to him, and he had to rest for a little bit. Nothing bad. But and then just started summer classes. So she's like, I'm so stressed to be up there that amount of time and da 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 da. And I was like, okay, whatever. You don't have to come. But then I had nobody to help me do the boat. So anyway, we are 6 hours from Cranberry Lake and we keep the boat close to our house in PA. So I'm like, whatever, I'll do this on my own. I can do this because I am a woman and hear me roar. So I picked that boat up in the morning, by myself. Although I did get help from the guy guiding it and getting it on from Highway Marine up in Quakertown. They're the bomb. They keep the boat running well. Highly recommend. Pick it up there, drive it up by myself. I get up here at like, I don't know, close to sunset, like 8 o'clock. I make it at night. I have to come in, put the boat lift was up. I had to put the boat lift down, go back up to the boat dock, which I'm 3 miles from, put the boat in the water by myself, got it tacked off and docked, pulled the boat, the car out, parked it, took the boat around, got it all set here at the cabin. Then I ran 3 miles back to the boat dock to pick up the car. And then I still had a car full of shit I had to unpack because I had food for a week with like 8 people, 10 people, including swimmers, which I always have to overfeed them.
Overfeed them, yes.
Yes, they eat the most insane amount of food and drink the most amazing amount of beer I've ever seen in my life. But that's besides the point. I ran the 3 miles, picked up the car, dropped the trailer off, came back. It was like 10 o'clock at night by the time I got back here and started unloading the car. I got in bed by like 12:30. Everything was unpacked. Beds were made. I was done.
I did ask you the other day when you shared that on text in one of our friend group chats, whether or not, like, when you took a shower that night, I was like, well, did you end up having a beverage for yourself like
Oh,
that
hell yeah.
evening? I mean,
Shower
I was
beer.
like, that, thank you. I was like, because girl, you deserve that.
Yeah. But it was awesome. I mean, it rained. We had shitty weather the first 2 days, and there's like a big we can get a lot of wave action on our part of the lake when the wind is kicking, and we did. It was like kind of rough for the first 2 days, but come Monday, everything kind of cleared out and the sun started poking out, and we've just had
Nice.
fantastic weather since. And so we had a house full all weekend, and DJ, we lost people left, people came back, new people came in, and really last night was fun because I everybody left except for DJ and two of his friends from college that just graduated, Dylan and Jacob. And watching those three goons just be friends, and then hearing them yesterday being like, this was just the best day ever. Like, this is the best day ever. Like, this is exactly how I want to finish out my college career. They've been
That's
coming up
awesome.
over Memorial Day for like the last 3 or 4 years. So it's kind of become a thing now. And I got to take them out at sunset on the boat and hang out with them. They let me, they were sweet. They let me hang out
Were,
with
were
them.
you were you DJing? I know you sent a video last night. Were you DJing?
I was not. I let them DJ because, it wasn't about
Good
me. It was
girl.
it was
Good girl.
their thing. So,
Good girl.
but
Yeah.
we had a wonderful time.
No,
But I
that's
did
awesome.
forget the last podcast to add one epic update thing.
What's that?
Ella's birthday was on May 15th. And we celebrated Ella's birthday. And happy birthday, Ella. I love
My
you.
egg love. My
I'm
egg
so
love.
sorry it took 2 weeks for me to say it because I was just not, I don't know where my brain was last week.
You know what? We have a lot of things that we would try to go and cover down on and stuff. So I'm not
Yeah.
making an excuse for you, but Oh, and you know whose birthday's today? Chopper's
Who?
birthday's today. Maddie and Matthew's
Oh,
dog. He's 2.
hi, Choppa. Happy birthday,
So
Choppa.
chop chop chop. My chop chop. Yep. He turned 2 today. So yeah, I sent that first thing this morning, and with a little picture that I have of me and him to Maddie. So yeah,
No,
yeah. So
sweet boy.
yeah. So, all right. Well, I am super excited to cut on over to our interview with Jake Jass, who is the race director for the Des Moines, Iowa Marathon, as well as the Cedar Rapids that we're going to be running here in a couple weeks.
Jake Jass is a passionate leader in the Iowa running community and the race director of the IMT Des Moines, Iowa Marathon and the Cedar Rapids Marathon, which is in its inaugural year in Iowa. Known for his energy, community first mindset, and dedication to growing the sport, Jake has helped elevate one of the Midwest's premier marathon events while fostering a welcoming environment for runners of every level. He has been involved in event production for 10 years, maybe more. Through his work in endurance sports and community engagement, he continues to make a lasting impact on running culture across Iowa. Jake, welcome to the Mile 20 podcast.
Yay! Welcome,
Yeah,
Jake.
thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah,
So
well,
we
we're
see you.
excited.
I know you're sitting chilling in your backyard, like
Yeah,
nice lovely day in Iowa. What's the temperature looking
yeah.
like?
Oh, it's like 90 right now. It is hot.
Oh crap. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you
yeah, it's
can,
hot.
like we're gonna be in Cedar Rapids in like 2 weeks. So like if you
Yeah,
just talk to the weather gods and just tell them like we want like in the 50s
trust
throughout the
me.
day.
If I could do like God, that's like the biggest stressor of all these things because it's just like the one thing you can't control, and you can plan a perfect event for a whole year, and then it's like thunderstorm in the morning, and it's just there it goes, like all that. So I'll put
So
in a good word, but yeah,
I mean, and we're going to get into like how you got into like racing and the whole thing, but I am curious,
yeah,
like when you are planning for like weather, you get like a
yeah,
let's say like a 90-95 degree day, because Lori and I like we've run a couple of races that have been like just real zingers. Like do
yeah,
you plan for like, I don't know, like people with hoses or sponges,
yeah.
or just lots more water? Like how do you plan for that?
Yeah, I mean, you have like so many different contingency plans.
Yeah.
For Cedar Rapids specifically, because it's beginning of June in Iowa, so it can like more than likely it will be warm. So we actually are tapping into several fire hydrants. We are doing like cooling zones out on the course.
Nice.
One of our sponsors, Body Armor, is doing like a misting inflatable arch across the whole road. Like we're
Ooh,
doing basically sprinklers every, there's three of them on the course. So, whatever that breaks down to every
Nice.
7, 8 miles, something like that. So, you can plan for as much as you want, but the reality is that like once somebody gets that warm,
Yeah.
um, it's like it's so hard to control that. A lot of that we leave up to the medical system, you know, within Cedar Rapids or within
Oh
the
yeah.
the given city to kind of make the call of like this is becoming too dangerous for their resources and their capabilities. And then there's other cities like New York City Triathlon, which I used to work. Like they are very strict. They go wet bulb temperature of like 86, 87 degrees, something like that. And if it hits it, they call it. It doesn't
Wow.
I don't it doesn't
wow.
matter if half the people are on the course, if half the people are, on the it doesn't matter. They call it, everybody's going to the finish line. So it's very from a race organizing perspective, like we'll get more ice, we'll have cooling stations, fans, all that kind of stuff. But from
Yeah.
like from a safety management point, it's kind of it's a collective decision between us and the city and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, because it's definitely the one variable that you cannot control. But man, you have to plan for all of it. I actually ran a race.
Yeah.
It was before Lori and I met. We met in 2014, and we've been
Mm,
running every race with each other since then. But I did run a
nice.
race before we met in Madison, Wisconsin, and they
Mm.
actually called the race. I was at mile 22, and I'll never forget. Like the fire department, the cops were all telling us we couldn't run.
Yeah.
The course was still closed down, but we had to walk. And
Yep.
my husband and my daughter handed me a big ass bag of ice. And I told my
Yep.
husband, we've been married almost 33 years. And I said, that was the best gift you've ever given me in our entire marriage. And I walked those last like 4 miles, like just eating like
Yeah.
ice cubes. And so, yeah, so I get it. So how did you
Yeah.
get into racing, endurance sports? Like were
Yeah.
you into this as a kid or?
No, I mean, not really. I grew up, I mean, sports and like running and fitness was always a big thing in my household growing up. And then my dad started doing Ironman triathlons when I was in high school, which is
Nice.
like it seeing him because he had, a pretty stressful job as well. So he'd work 10-hour days and then he would literally train from the time that he came home until the time he went to bed. Like I didn't see
So
him
you
almost for
so
a
you saw him a
year.
lot, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, hey. And then he'd go downstairs and get on the trainer for 3 or 4 hours and then go for a hour long
Wow.
run. And like weekends were all running and stuff. And then I don't know how familiar you guys are with triathlons, but the Hy-Vee triathlon here in Des Moines was was the third biggest triathlon in the world. So it went the Olympics, Kona, and then the Hy-Vee
I
triathlon.
didn't know
As
that. Oh wow.
I
yeah,
didn't know that either.
Yeah, it was an Olympic qualifier. It's the third biggest prize purse. I mean, huge, huge, huge
Wow.
production. And I got lucky enough basically I fell into that group that was producing that. And that company was called Premier Event Management. They're a group out of New Orleans, and they produced some of the biggest endurance events in the country. So New York City Triathlon, Beta Breakers in San Francisco,
Mm.
Chicago, like and everything in between. So I literally just kind of stumbled my way into it because I was interested kind of in triathlons at the time. Um, I just kind of stumbled my way into it, and then I was lucky enough to be a part of that group to make a job out of it. Basically, like I would get on an airplane on a Wednesday. We'd build everything out. We'd have the event on a Sunday, and then I'd fly home on a Monday,
Wow.
do laundry on Tuesday, and then back again. I mean, I was
Do it
doing that.
again.
Yeah, I did that for about 8 to 10 years or so of just kind of the manual labor, flying to each event. None of the pre-work stuff that I'm doing now. And just kind of worked my way up from there. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's how I met my wife too. She was part of that same group. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's really
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was my next question was how you guys met. How
yep,
does it,
yeah.
so are you both co-directors at the Des Moines, the Des Moines Marathon and also Cedar Rapids?
Yes and no. She actually doesn't work for me. She does basically my job, but for an event company out of San Francisco. Um,
Okay.
for a very for a short period of time, she worked for me. And then she got this crazy good offer, and that's actually where she's at right now. She's in San Francisco, which is why I have both the kids. But um, yeah, so she does a lot of more of like the community facing stuff. So she does like a lot of the volunteers and sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. Where I'm much more of like the operations, logistics
Got it.
kind of person. So we complement each other very, very well. But she's a badass, and she's now doing it for a company out in out in San Francisco. So I'm stuck here. But yeah, for those races, I am kind of a one man show, and she certainly helps me a lot. So
Oh, I love that. I
yeah,
absolutely love that. So all right. So you're the race director for the Des Moines, Iowa marathon, which
yep,
Lori and I have done. But I do want to do a disclaimer to our recurring listeners that you took over as the race director after Lori and I ran the Des
okay,
Moines, Iowa marathon.
yeah,
So that's a good thing. You should probably go back and listen to our episode about the Des Moines, Iowa marathon.
okay,
Well,
yeah,
let's just do a brief recap.
It
We
was
did the
not back
yeah.
of the pack friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the I-35 challenge. So we did
Mhm.
Kansas
Oh,
City
good
on
for you guys.
Saturday,
Yeah,
and we were right at the 7 hour cutoff mark.
yeah,
And literally at the halfway point, which we were well ahead of time at that point, they were
yeah,
like picking up, there was garbage trucks in front of us picking up garbage.
Like from the
At,
race, from the
at,
race.
yes,
yeah, yeah,
Like
at
not
yeah,
mile,
the neighbors, but like the race. We're like,
yeah.
what's happening?
yes, at
Hello.
mile 21, they started picking up the porta johns in front of us.
Oh my
We're like,
gosh. Holy
Yes.
cow.
yes,
And there were
Yeah.
and we were not the last people in the race. There were a lot of people behind us.
yeah,
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was not
What
good.
year did you guys run it?
21.
21. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I do think that there is something to be said. There seems to be two different kinds of, I'm gonna say, event companies. There's ones. Can you stop punching me, please? There's ones that are produced by like running clubs. Um, and those ones tend to be a lot more like running purist. Um,
Yeah.
they're almost like gifted or shifted and geared towards like the elite runner and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And then there's the like myself where it's Leon, can you please stop, bud? Please stop. Leon. Where it's like, oh no, this one's doing it. Where
They're
where
so
it's like
cute.
That's so awesome.
I know that's the problem. Like he's so stinky cute, you can get away with anything. But then it's much more of like we try and make it an experience for I would say like the 99% of people. And that's really where we like focus our energy. Not to like we're not trying to dissuade quote unquote elite runners from coming to our events. Like we still cater to them and all that kind of stuff, but it's not our main focus.
Yeah.
So I definitely think, and the kind of the way that Des Moines was organized and ran before us, it was more or less by that a more run club ish group. And now that me and Laura, my wife, kind of took it over, we're much more about like the experience, having fun, making it something to be remembered, and all that kind of stuff for the majority. So
I love that. I love that.
They,
So well, I mean, you took over Des Moines and then
mm,
Cedar Rapids, right?
yeah,
Two, like great cities in Iowa.
yeah, yeah,
How did you come into the Cedar Rapids one? Because that one, like from what we understand, this is the inaugural year for the
yeah,
race. So like, how did that come all about? Like you just woke up one
yeah.
day and go, like, hey, let's do a race in Cedar Rapids, or did you take it over from another company? Or
No, we didn't take it over. Basically, we wanted to. So we also own the Iowa Trail Run Series, which
okay,
is it's 9 different events in different parks around the state. Um, and we really wanted to have like another big event. You know, with endurance events being kind of our forte, like we thought, like, what if we could kick off the year with like a marathon, and then also end our year with a marathon, and
nice.
really like it just rounds out kind of our race portfolio, um, and just a better way. So we actually reached out to a couple different cities, and we just said like, would you guys be interested if we brought something similar to your guys's event, or to your guys's city? And Cedar Rapids was like incredibly excited from the very beginning. They embraced us with open arms. They like it was very clear to us that like, oh, this is the place to do it.
Well, that's
And
awesome.
then we basically just hit the ground running. Like our first conversation with Cedar Rapids was in May, and we announced we opened up registration in August for this event. So the turnaround was lightning
Wow.
fast. And that just, I mean, it's a credit to the city and their kind of willingness to work with us and just get things done that needed to be done for an event like this. So yeah,
I love I and I especially love the fact that you guys are doing the race in Cedar Rapids, because Lori and we've traveled all over the United States. We have not been
yeah,
to Cedar Rapids yet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really excited about, and that's the reason why we run and do what we do, is
yeah,
you get to go to these really, like, not that Cedar Rapids is an obscure, place, but these just little nooks and crannies of the United
yeah,
States that like we normally wouldn't visit, like
absolutely.
on a day to day, because we live out in Pennsylvania. It's like, so
Yeah.
it's just a really cool way to go and get people to different parts of the country.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So,
Cedar Rapids is one of those, like, it's very similar to Des Moines, where it's like, I think unless you go there, like, you really have to experience it for yourself. Because me being from Des Moines and also like and traveling the country, like every time I say I'm from Iowa or Des Moines, people are like, "What the heck do you do there?" Like,
Corn.
they just think it's cornfields. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm on my cow going to school. Like, um, and then you come to these cities, and it's like really good food scene, like a good atmosphere. They're clean, they're safe, they're family friendly. Like, it's to me, it's like I love the Bostons and I love the New York Cities and the Chicagos. And I think you need to experience those things once. But the sweet spot for me is like the 5 to 10,000 person marathons where they're in smaller markets where like you can bring your family and not have to be worried about any, like you can park your car and just leave it there, and the travel doesn't cost a fortune. And it's like, um, so that's really, I mean, that's a net, like we were specifically targeting kind of the mid-tier market cities, and another reason why we landed in Cedar Rapids, basically.
So what would you say now, because you know what the course is in your head? Like, what are the
Yeah.
things on the course that we should be looking forward to seeing, or,
Yeah.
what are the highlights of the course?
Yeah, I mean, the course is honestly packed with tons of them. You guys are probably going to be cursing my names between miles 4 and 6. I mean, outside of one hill, it is very, very flat. It's very, very fast. But between miles 4 and 6, yeah, you're gonna be on that stair stepper a little bit.
All right, so Jake, just on that
Yeah,
note, I will make
yeah.
sure that like we get video of us going up the hill, going Jake.
No, why? Yeah,
Damn it,
I don't
Jake!
blame you.
Damn it,
I don't.
Jake!
I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
Well, the good
But
news is we're
honestly,
doing lots of hill training right now anyway, because
there you go.
we're running Vermont the next month in
Oh,
July. So
nice. Oh,
we need the
beautiful.
hills. Bring it on.
Yeah. Well, you'll get, I mean, not that many, but you'll get a few. But
Good.
honestly, like the the course through miles 4 and 6, even though it's definitely the toughest part. You go through like a really pretty neighborhood, and then there's tons of like spectating, viewing cheer zones in this course, which is also really awesome because it goes through, like I said, you're probably gonna hit 3 or 4 different like bars that are like right along the course. That will be open and people can have a drink while they're watching the runners and all that kind of stuff. And then hit some really pretty trails. There's this really famous landmark in Cedar Rapids called Mount Trashmore. It's an old landfill, and it's like humongous. It's for you guys. It's going to be mile like you just pass it, you don't run up it, but it's another iconic spot just before you hop on the trail there, and then um, downtown Cedar Rapids is going to be packed full of people and bars and restaurants and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's tons and tons of really cool spots in here. There is between miles, like where I said where that bar is at, um, between miles, let's say 16 and 20, is probably going to be your most boring stretch. It's just an out and back to like get the distance you need for a full marathon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
we are packing it with like DJs, and that's where that misting station is at, and all sorts of stuff. So we
Oh,
try and
very
make
cool.
even the boring spots at least somewhat exciting. But honestly, I think the best part of this specific course is that the spectators can literally get to almost every single spot. And we put a whole spectator guide together too, as far as where people can go and watch and how to get there and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's all pretty good, honestly.
I'll be interested to see, being that this is the first time, that there's a marathon being held in Cedar Rapids, how the
Mhm.
community comes out like as
Yeah,
spectators. Because like Lori and I have gone to some places where like we would have expected, more spectators. And the good thing
sure.
is that like we don't need it to go and run our races, right? Like, because we've run
Yeah.
races where it's like, I mean, like what was the smallest one where we ran, Lori? 13
13
people
people.
in Cordova,
Oh
Alaska.
my
That was the
gosh.
smallest marathon. And in order to qualify for the 50 states for a race to count, you have to have at least 10 people like finish the race. So Lori and I were like, how many people came
Yes.
across? And like, I'll go back and carry the suckers across the finish
Yeah.
line. But so
Wow,
we're used
13
to
people.
like,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
we're used to like, some really obscure things. But we love the
Yeah.
races where the community comes out and
Yeah.
they become part
Yeah.
of the race. I mean, I
Absolutely.
know that we loved like Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was
Yes.
just one big freaking party, like that
Yep.
entire race. So do you
Yep.
have, like, being that, working with the city, and that they were
Hmm.
very, eager to work, and it sounds like, that's worked out really well. Have you gotten a vibe from anybody, like in terms of like, hey, like, is this going to be a good, like, a turnout, or is it going to be
Yeah.
like, well, we just don't know yet? I mean, because I'm kind of curious with it being like the first year.
You mean just spectator wise?
Yeah, spectator
Yeah.
wise.
I think people will absolutely show up. Um, I think the Midwest for these types of events, they get so much more excited about it. Like for Des Moines, I know for Des Moines, it's like spectators everywhere. And a lot of that has to do, I think, with how many events like this are in that city. Um, and if it's, or
Yeah.
how many events are
Yeah.
just, is the city like welcoming events? Are they excited about it themselves? Or are they like, oh, this is another thing that's shutting down the roads and we can't get to church and I can't get my groceries and that can't, like, that's the opposite in Cedar Rapids, where people are, all the businesses are super excited. They're making special discounts for you guys and all that kind of stuff. They're very, very excited, and local runners are also incredibly excited. So I think that this will be a highly spectated um event for sure.
I absolutely love to hear that. And for folks listening, before we were talking to Jake and doing our interview, one of the things that he shared is that there's actually a bar around mile 16 and mile 2021 ish. So
Yeah.
Lori and I might forego planting our
Depending on timing. Depending on timing.
depending upon timing. We might plant and visit a bar, and we've never done that in a marathon
There you go.
before. So we've
Yeah.
definitely taken beverages from spectators. That's why I was curious too of whether or not there were going to be spectators, and
Oh yeah.
if there were going to be maybe spectator libations as well. So, but yeah, that it sounds like we can go and make a very good time of it, Lori, in Cedar Rapids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Quick question. How is it starting an inaugural race, like directing from that perspective versus taking
Mm,
over an established race that you're race
mm,
Mm.
directing? Like, how
mm.
challenging has it been and how time consuming, versus an established race?
Yeah, that's a great question. The the first year event is always the most stressful, even compared to like taking one over. Just because there's so many unknowns, especially a place like Cedar Rapids where they haven't done this before. So it's kind of a learning process, not just for myself, but also the city and everybody that's
Mm.
involved. So I mean, and with a first year event, there's things that just fall through the cracks, that you improve on year after year,
Yeah.
that you don't really know until the event happens. And for me, somebody, that's a planner with anxiety, it's like I don't like that stuff, but it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Um, so the first year event is it's kind of a catch 22 because you can build it right from the beginning, like how you want to. Um,
Yeah.
and you can implement that from the beginning as far as like the overall vibe of the event and all that kind of stuff. But the stress of the unknowns, um, like you're saying, like even spectators, like I have a pretty good idea that spectators will come out, but I don't know that like I do for Des
Yeah.
Moines.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have a pretty good idea that businesses are going to be awesome, but I don't know that like I do for Des Moines. So there's just those are the things that are stressful. And then on the flip side, taking over something is is always met with a lot of criticisms because people just don't really like change.
Hmm.
And there's kind of like this, yeah, sorry. 1 second, please. 2 minutes, Leon, okay? Um, there's there's this kind of old guard versus new guard as far
Mm.
as like the events used to be run a lot by, like I was saying earlier, kind of like run clubs and stuff like that who are more run purists, and then they don't like when you make it kind of an event. And I'm speaking in general terms here. But
Yeah.
so when I took over and started making changes for Des Moines, it was met with a lot of criticisms. People didn't like it, but our numbers have grown every year and they're really big this year and all that kind of stuff. And
It's awesome.
so I mean, they're both met with their own challenges, but the nice thing about Des Moines is that, this is year 25. So it's like the city knows what it's doing. I know what I'm doing. Everybody in the town knows like what's happening and gets behind it and supports it and stuff like that. And that just takes time. So I have, the luxury of the time was already done, the foundation was already laid for me. So I just kind of tweaked
Yeah.
it to make it fit more of how I think it should be run. Where I can just do that right from the beginning of Cedar Rapids, but the more logistical operation question marks are still going to be question marks until June 8th. So
I love it. I love it. So Jake, how do you go and, like, as you're putting together a new race like Cedar Rapids, give it like its brand, like,
mm,
like, because you want people to have like the feel of the city, the feel of the people,
mhm,
and how do you shape a race? I mean, with all the stuff that you just talked about, how do you shape a
mhm.
race to give it a brand, like, almost out of the gate? And I know that a brand will go and like evolve over time as well,
Yeah,
right? But I mean,
yeah,
it's because I'm in the corporate world, and when we were talking about like how we even name something, it's like, well, like,
yeah,
you gotta name it something that, like, isn't gonna
yeah,
repulse people like right out of the gate, right? So
yeah, yeah,
so I mean, what
yeah,
what goes into that? What was your thought process going into like Cedar Rapids and like giving it its identity?
yeah. For me, there's two things. One is just spending time there. When this thing, like, I probably spend, I don't know, at least a day a week over there. Even if it's just like I don't have anything on the calendar, like I'll just go, I'll work at a coffee shop, all that kind of stuff. Like if things pop
Yeah.
up, I'll go and have meetings. And then the other thing that we like to do is we like to implement local race committees. So people that are in the community, not necessarily runners, but people that are in the communities that are either business owners or part of a business, or they're part of the community or part of um, uh, like the tourism board or anything like that. And
Yeah.
basically, like, we're surrounding ourselves constantly with people who are a microcosm of the community that you're in. And it's pretty, like, it from there it becomes pretty clear, like, what this particular city and ultimately what this marathon is about. Yes, Teddy. Yeah, come on, Leon. Um, and from there, like, one of the first things that Laura and I, when we started going over there, the people and the community of this event, um, are like absolutely amazing. Um, every time that we leave, we're like, man, should we move to Cedar Rapids? Like, the food scene's amazing, the people are incredible, the city is
Uh,
like blossoming. They're welcoming. They're active, they're engaged, and like it's constantly, it has like such a good energy about it. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we approach it when starting a new event. And then some of them just kind of, like for our trail series, for instance, kind of just it's built into trail running, like what it is. But for
Yeah.
the most part, like, just surrounding ourselves with people that are in the community and
yeah.
making that kind of our ecosystem, as far as like bouncing ideas off of and all that kind of stuff, is basically how we do it.
I love that. I love that. I love your comment about just like immersing yourself in the
Mm,
community so you get to know
yeah,
it more. So that way,
yeah,
you give it as much as it's going to give you. I really
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
So to depart a little bit from the talk about the marathon itself and race directing,
Mm,
we have a parallel with our name with the Mile 20 podcast.
mm,
We're two ladies that are in our 50s, and we always think of Mile 20 as like that's the time you hit the wall, right?
yeah,
50s kind of a hard time. It's kind of like the theoretical wall of a marathon as well. You have
sure.
choices to make. Your body's shutting down, your mind is questioning all your life choices.
Yeah.
There's a parallel, right? So
Yes.
we ask everybody, what has been like a mile 20 moment in your life that you have pushed through?
Oh my God. Um, honestly, so many. Um, I I will say, I and this is, being a little bit personal, I suffer a lot from OCD and anxiety. Um, and when I like it, like, spikes big time when my wife is pregnant. and my boys are about to be born. Um, and it's like very, very crippling for me.
Oh,
But it's provided me also an opportunity to like you were saying, like push through and prove that even if it gets really, really hard and like every day seems terrifying and you don't know how you're going to get through it, like if you just keep going and you put one step in front of another and like make little tiny advances, you'll look back and realize like how far you've come. And that, from a personal standpoint, is probably my biggest quote unquote mile 20, is just getting over that, um, and coming out kind of the other side. But for me personally, it's definitely been the birth of my boys and kind of everything that from a mental health perspective, like what that came for me and just getting through that.
thank you so much for sharing that. And I tell
Yeah.
you what, with Lori and I, Lori has 3 kids, and they're almost all grown. She's got one still in college. I have a 30-year-old, and like every moment in their life is just it's a gift. So while they're climbing all over you right now,
Yeah. It's a
enjoy that.
gift.
It's a gift that you just got to
It
keep
is a
reminding.
gift.
It
Yes.
is,
Yeah.
because you'll
Oh, it
look back
absolutely is.
you'll
Yeah.
look back when they're 30 and go, God, I miss those days when they were climbing all
Yeah.
over me, in the yard and running the house with
Oh,
dirty hands all over the
absolutely.
walls.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, and that's why at the beginning of this, I said like I love when they're like that. I mean, this is life,
Yeah.
and it's like a lot of my meetings take place, at unconventional times and all that kind of stuff. And they're a part of that. And it's just the way that it is. And I think people sometimes, whatever industry you're in, I think a lot of times people can get behind a computer and almost like think that the person that they are sending a message to is not like a real person, like they're
oh,
only there to serve that one purpose of, well, you're the race director, so it needs to be perfect for me. And it's like that is true, but I also, it's 7 o'clock on a Sunday. Like I have a family and like I have other things to do and things like that. And I just think it's important to, as many times as you can, just remind people of that. And they are a gift that keeps on giving.
I love that. And I tell you what, you are young in life, and just keep that mantra, because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I know being in our 50s, Lori and I, like just doing life balance. And that's what keeps
Yes.
you
Yeah.
happy. Always remember, like when you're in a spot and you're like, man, I'm not in a happy place. Just keep reminding yourself what brings you joy.
Yeah.
And if on on any given day you're like, I'm going to bring my boys with me to a meeting because it brings me joy, and this is my
Absolutely.
life, and so forth,
Yeah.
then hey, that's what it's all about. So hey,
Yeah.
look,
I totally agree.
I know you have your hands full right now with the
Yeah.
boys, so we're not going to go and keep you too much
Oh, you're
longer.
fine.
But the one thing I do have to ask is,
Yeah.
has there been, with all, I mean, gosh, you talked about like all the years of all the different types of races and events that you have managed, has there ever been like that one memorable moment where you've seen like an athlete come across a finish line? It could even be your
Mm,
dad. I mean, you're talking about your dad being an Ironman
yeah.
earlier. But
Yeah.
is there one memorable moment where you were like, man, that is like a life memory I will never forget?
Yeah. I think I have two of them. It was definitely my dad completing his first Ironman.
Ah,
Um, that I was 16 or 17 at the time. And like I said, like I didn't see him for basically a year. And um, then we went and spectated him. It was in Arizona. Um,
oh
And
wow.
like, I'm sure you guys have spectated plenty, and it's like, maybe you don't see him for
Yeah.
30 minutes or something like that. And like, we wouldn't see him for hours. It was like, like it took him, I think, 15 hours to do it or something like that. And it just,
Wow.
um, like seeing him cross the finish line, starting in the sunrise, basically, and then finishing at, before midnight. Yes, Leon. Can you give me a couple more minutes, please? Oh, I know. Terrible. And then seeing him finish, it was like I didn't understand how somebody could do that. And all the training that went with it and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
then fast forward probably 10, 15 years, something like that. I actually race directed um Ironman Des Moines, which is the shirt here.
Yeah.
So that was I race directed half Ironman as well as a full for several years. And um race directing a full Ironman was like it was something super special. Being a part of it from the very beginning, it was actually same thing, inaugural year for Des Moines. Getting that off the ground, coming up with
Yeah.
140 miles worth of course and all that kind of stuff.
That's
And then
incredible.
Yeah.
yeah, the bike course itself, it was a single loop bike course. It was 112 miles,
Wow.
Single
four
loop.
different single loop,
Wow.
four different
Kudos.
counties. Our
Wow.
our meetings for that was like 100 people. I mean, it was crazy. Um, and then seeing like the final finishers come across that, knowing all the work that I put into it, and also like knowing all the work that they put into it because of seeing my dad do it. It was I sat at that finish line for a good hour after, just kind of like in awe of everything that we just
Oh,
did, and it was really, really cool.
That's
that is absolutely
fantastic.
that, yeah. I love that. I love that. Well,
Yeah,
hey Jake, we again we don't want to keep you too much longer because we know you have your hands full
Yeah.
with the boys there. But hey,
yeah,
look, on behalf of Lori and I, we want to thank you for joining our podcast. I think
yeah,
one, you gave, some really great insight into, not only like race directing, but like, how do you get into the sport? But then also
yeah,
your perspective on how you care for I would say the runner spirit, and
yeah,
because Lori and I appreciate all the work that race directors put in.
mm,
Again,
Absolutely.
we've had more fantastic races than we've had want-was. But and anytime we've had a want it's just it's been all around. So but
yeah, sure,
we totally appreciate the work that goes into the races,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
are so looking forward to going out to Cedar Rapids, and then hopefully
yeah,
like
awesome.
we'll go and track you down. We'll be wearing our big mile 20 podcast tank
Okay,
tops,
yeah,
white and green, and
Yeah,
we
awesome.
will.
where will you be on race day?
Yeah, where are you going to be
Oh
at?
God, wherever the
All
chaos is
over?
at, I'll be all over. Yeah, all over. Yeah,
All right. Well, we
you'll
will try
find
to
you'll see
find
me.
you. We'll try to find you. We'll
Awesome.
get a real live intro, and some
Yeah,
pictures taken.
yeah,
But again, thank you so much for your time. We know you're extremely busy,
yeah,
and thank you so much for all the insights. We greatly
Yep.
appreciate you.
It was
yeah.
so
Of
nice to
course.
meet you. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, likewise. I do think before we go, I do think it would be interesting if you guys are up for it to do like this again after the race
Oh, we
to
will.
see like your perspective, and you could ask me questions as why did you guys do it like this and why did you do it like that, and like
Oh.
I think that there could be a lot of really cool, like even deeper insights as far as like why didn't you just use that road and do it this way and all that kind of stuff, or the good, the bad, the ugly, and might be kind of fun if you guys are up for it, but just let me know.
We
Absolutely.
definitely plan on reviewing the race, and actually Lori and I now, because of just doing the podcast while we're doing a race, like when we ran the Delaware running festival, we actually will I'll take like verbal notes, and we're like, oh, all right, we just ran by a prison. We just mile 17 you run by a dump, and mile
Yeah.
18 you run by a dump again.
Yeah, Mount Trashmore is not our first
Oh
Mount
yeah.
Trashmore we've ever
No,
passed.
Okay.
That's for
no,
sure.
no, that will not be a first. But yeah, no,
Nice.
we we try to take it from the perspective of like both logistics, experience,
Yeah.
feels, and so forth. So
Awesome.
we even when
Yeah.
we were in Delaware, because we run across a lot of wetlands with
Oh.
raised piers across wetlands, and some of
Oh,
our fellow
cool.
runners just it wasn't a big race, just took their goo packets and just like flung it,
Mm,
and so
yeah.
we took a video of that and just like reinforcing to people like, hey man, pick up after yourself. It's like
Yeah.
this
Come
is
on.
nature, it's like,
Yeah.
come on man.
Yeah.
So
Come on.
so yeah, just
Yeah.
different things like that, so
Cool.
just trying to be nice
Cool.
to the environment. So
Yeah,
Anyhow, all
always.
right, we will track you down. We're gonna find you,
All right.
and
I'll look forward to it.
and we will go and get some video of us yelling your name going up the hill in
The
Cedar
hill.
Rapids.
Fair enough. Sounds
All
good. Of
right, Jake, thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate you. Have
course.
a good rest of
Yeah,
the night.
likewise. You
It was
too.
nice
Take
to
care.
meet you.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
Hey, Lori, that was a great interview, wasn't it?
Jake is such a nice guy. I really can't wait to meet him either at the start of the finish line, wherever we catch up with him. I think it'll be amazing.
It will be, and maybe he'll have his boys in tow, and that's how we'll be able to easily find him.
I
They were
hope
really
so.
cute, but I gather one was maybe 5, and the other one was like 3 or 2. I like definitely, yeah, has his hands full with 2 young boys.
Yeah, so sweet though. I mean, you and I know we would go back there in a second if we could. So totally
Oh,
appreciate him
in a
taking time
heartbeat,
out to speak with us. That was
absolutely.
I know that special time and it meant a lot that he spent some time with us.
I totally agree. Now this coming weekend, Lori and I have some cool stuff we're doing. We're going to be with the Conshohocken Running Club. That's a mouthful. And this is a local running club, and we're going to run with them on Saturday morning. And then we're going to interview Evan Campbell from the running club and have a good conversation about, what it means to be part of a community, and another way of going and bringing people together. So super super excited about that. And
I
you know
know.
what
I feel
else?
like it's been forever since we've ran with a run club. So it'll be fun to be with some different bodies.
It's been a while since we've run with the run club, but it's been a while since we've run with each other.
That's true.
So because of my nasal surgery, and just with travels from this weekend, you're still up in New York right now. I'm still not running. It's been a hot minute. So I think you're going to try to go and get in a run the next like 2 days, just so I don't look like a total slub on Sunday. So yeah, I'll let you know how the nose operates. I can't blow my nose though when I'm running, so it might be some
Yeah.
issues. But you know what? I want to ensure. Do you know what?
What?
I
What?
want to make sure that you go make mile 20. You'll bitch this week.
Peace out.